Everyone, and welcome to my new channel, Zasmanreviews, where I'll be giving you reviews of TV shows, movies, whatever it is. And my first review I'll be doing, you've guessed it, Walking Dead Season 1. Easiest review on the planet because it's one of my biggest shows I love. I'm honestly in love with that show, it's so big. It's coming back for a 5th season in about a month. Well, I bet you all know that if you're Walking Dead fans and are watching this video. But anyways, to the review. Walking Dead Season 1 was a pretty crazy season. Well, actually it was very crazy starting off the series. It started off the series with a 1 hour and a half episode and 75 minutes of footage. You know, it's 15 minutes of commercials. Goes that way sometimes. But anyways, the plot, I think I won't do an episodic review or do a review of episode 1 and then move on to episode 2. I think I'll just do a full review of the full season, which should take me like maybe 6-7 minutes. So if you guys are those type of people who don't like stuff to be spoiled for them, then spoiler alert, because I'll be giving you a lot of juicy details on Walking Dead Season 1 that you possibly don't know yet. So anyways, here we go. So Season 1 started with the main character, Rick Grimes, getting shot in the line of duty. He went to the hospital and was in a coma for I don't even know how long. He was in a coma for like maybe 1-2 months at most. And when he woke up, he found out his best friend, Shane, went off with his wife, Lori, and his I nearly said daughter, and his son, Carl. So Shane ended up taking him with him to Atlanta, which we find out later in the premiere. So, jumping back to the point, Rick goes out of the hospital after waking up from his coma and finds out the world has gone to shit around him. Honestly, the world is shit city right now because when he was in his coma, like, the undead ended up rising from their corpses, and now the world is a shit show. So Rick looks for his wife and son. I nearly said daughter again. But anyways, he goes to his house where he thinks he'll find them. But on his way to his house, he finds his first ever encounter with a zombie, whom he later puts out of her misery. It's like a bicycle zombie, like half bike, half zombie. It's crushed or whatever. So anyways, Rick ends up moving to his house. When he gets there, he looks around, finds out his wife and son packed, as I said before, and went off with his best friend Shane to Atlanta. I don't know where the series picked. I don't know where we were, like where Rick lives. I think it's Cynthia, Kentucky. Maybe it's Kentucky, something like that. But anyways, moving on. So when Rick comes out of his house, he gets hit in the head with a shovel from a dick son. Like, not his son. It's like a son whom he thinks is his son, but it's not his son. It's someone else's son whose name is Morgan. And the son that hit Rick in the head with a shovel like an asshole is Dwayne. Yeah, so both of them are the first ever humans we ever encountered, which is why I'm saying their names, because they're really important to me at most. I really like that part. We got to know Morgan and Dwayne a lot, and they patched Rick up. Like, they thought it was a bite, but it was actually a gunshot wound, Morgan. It was a gunshot wound. So anyways. Yep, so after getting patched up and sending him on his way, Rick leaves Morgan and Dwayne, because Morgan and Dwayne want to stay in Kentucky, and Rick wants to go to Atlanta. So, moving on, Rick takes a police car from the station, gets showered and all that, and then leaves Morgan and Dwayne to do whatever they like, and he goes, along the way, he runs out, like his car runs out of gas, so he gets a couple of gas canisters and goes to a nearby farmhouse, whom the family committed suicide in, and he finds a house. Yep, he finds a house whom he rides on the very long way to Atlanta, and when he makes it to Atlanta, he finds out that the undead have kept the city. The undead have stolen the city from us. It's their city now. The city is fallen to the dead. That's a really cool part, actually, because Rick is going through the... Okay, so Wick is going through the hordes of zombies, and, well, actually they're called walkers in the TV show, thus the name The Walking Dead. But when he moves through the hordes of zombies, Wick's host ends up falling prey to them and eaten alive, very sad. But then Wick is alone, he gets into a nearby tank and hopes for the best. Well, there's actually a zombie inside whom he shoots in the head, and it kind of makes his ears win a lot, because it's in a... like, it's in a small area, you know? But yeah, so anyways, at the very end, we hear from this guy, whom we don't know yet, but he's very popular later on, but still. He says, hey, he calls Wick a dumbass and says, is it cozy in there? Ending off Season 1, Episode 1. Moving on to Episode 2. I'll actually be very short now. I did a full description of Episode 1, which actually lasted maybe 4, maybe 5 minutes. But now, I actually want to make the descriptions of the next 5 episodes very short. I want them to be no more than 1, maybe 2 minutes at most. Because honestly, so anyways. I'm just going to synopsize Episode 2 through 6 in case you don't like spoilers. Episode 1 was a huge spoiler, but Episode 2 won't be as much. So anyways, moving on to Episode 2, which is titled Guts. Episode 1 was titled Days Gone By, which was actually a B-Y-E instead of a B-Y. But anyways, the title Days Gone By was like it's actually referring to the zombies and all that. Like, well, the end of days has come and it's like the days have gone bye-bye. And the title Guts you will find out in this Episode 2 review. Okay, so in Episode 2, we actually do find Louie and Carl and all that. Well, Wick is still in Atlanta in the tank, but anyways, at the beginning we find out some juicy deets. Well, Shane is actually having an affair with Louie. Like, what a dick. Well, who would do that when Wick is in the coma? But still, Louie did it. Louie is having sex with Shane. Thinks Wick is dead, so what the hell? I'll just take off my pants and just start having sex with a guy I don't even know. So anyways, Shane wanted it anyways. He wanted it. Oh, I'm getting weird now. So, moving on. So anyways, Wick is in the tank, which is the highlight of the episode. Well, actually, Episode 1. He gets out, finds this guy, Glenn. Yeah, his name's Glenn. One of my favorite characters. I like Glenn and his baseball cap and all that. I like him. He's very good. He's a pizza delivery guy before the apocalypse. He knows his way in and out of the city. So anyways, they go up to the rooftop of a nearby gun store, and Wick actually leaves the box, like the bag he was carrying with him. He leaves that, like, he leaves the bag of guns in the streets of Atlanta. So now the horde of zombies have the bag and are going to start using weapons. They'll teach themselves how to use weapons. So anyways, when they go onto the gun store, there's an asshole named Moe, who is a racist son of a gun. He is shooting off at the hordes of zombies, thinking, hey, I'll just impress everyone by shooting off my gun, seeing how they like it. He actually has a brother named Daryl, who is a fan favorite by now. I think you guys might know that if you're watching this video. But anyways, Moe starts shooting off his gun, yelling and all that, attracting the hordes of zombies to the gun store. And then he ends up, like, calling T-Dog a you-know-what, and ends up riling him up to the point where T-Dog ends up getting his ass beat, and everyone else for that matter. And then Wick takes it upon himself to just beat Moe senseless and put the handcuffs on him and chain him up to a post or a pipe. Yeah, chained him up to a pipe. So Moe was stuck there with T-Dog, and then Moe and T-Dog were having a very bad, awkward moment up there since T-Dog ended up getting his ass beat. So anyways, moving on. So later on in the episode, I'll just move ahead like a couple minutes, like maybe 10, 15 minutes or so. So later on, I'm going to just explain why the title is named Guts. Yeah, why it's titled Guts. It's titled Guts because later on in the episode, Wick and his fellow survivors, including Glenn, cover themselves up in zombie/walker guts and travel through the city. I forget why they did that, but then it begins to wane and the Waco Guts ends up going off them. Classic zombie hobo stuff. And they hide onto a truck, and then they steal that truck. And then Moe ends up getting his, like, he ends up having the key drop down. Well, actually, T-Dog did that. T-Dog, when he was about to leave, Moe said, "Hey, what about me, man? Come on. Like, come on. Bros don't do that to each other." So then T-Dog said, "Okay, sure, bro." So he comes back and ends up being an idiot because he's so happy with his brodom that he drops the key down the drain. Like, I think it's a drain. But then Moe ends up freaking out and says, "Okay, forget me, man. We're not bros. We're never bros. Get the hell out of here. You'll never be a bro to me because you dropped the damn key down the damn drain, man." So then T-Dog's like, "Whoa, cool it." So he leaves. Moe stays there. And he actually cuts off his hand later on. But yeah, it's titled Guts because they covered themselves up in Waco Guts, like I said. I forget why they did that. They were just, they were trying to get a mobiles and like a transport vehicle. They were trying to get a vehicle. Stumble on my words sometimes, guys. You should know that about me. Moving on to episode 3, titled Vados. No, actually, episode 4 is titled episode 3 is actually titled Vados. So now, in episode 3, Vados, not a lot happens in that episode except for Rick decides upon his better judgment that he thinks, you know what, I might just go back for Moe. So then we later find out that Moe cut his hand off. But anyways, just putting it out there. So Rick goes back to Atlanta and he retrieves his bag of guns. What a hero that guy is. And it's titled Vados because they go to a retirement home titled Vados as well, where they run into a bunch of antagonists. Yeah. They run into a bunch of antagonists who steal Glenn from us and are going to throw him off a rooftop. But then Rick comes to the rescue. And, well, Rick actually abducted one of their guys earlier, and then they took one of his guys. So then they say, we'll exchange your guy for our guy. So then they do that. And then the episode ends with everyone having a good, holly jolly, merry time. Yeah. And now moving on to episode 4 titled Wildfire. Yeah, so anyways. Wildfire is just about, like, Wildfire is by far the best episode out of all of, no, actually not the whole series. What was I going to say though? It's titled the best episode in season 1. Like, well, in my opinion, it's the best episode out of all of season 1. Okay. In my opinion, once more. So anyways, and I'll tell you why it's such a crazy episode. Because season 1, episode 4 was, like, they had this big zombie attack happen. I don't know what happened with the zombies, how they even got up that far, because they were supposed to be all around Atlanta, since Atlanta's the only big city in the area. But then they come up from the mountains, like from the city, I mean, and end up getting in trouble. Like, all of the characters end up getting in trouble, including Andrea's sister. I didn't talk about Andrea before. She's in the big group of survivors that include the main character's wife and son. But anyways, yeah, the big group of survivors is no more after that episode, because like 5 or 6 of them end up getting killed, including an asshole husband who was abusive towards his wife. I'm glad when the antagonists end up meeting their ends. I might sound like a dick for saying that, but I honestly don't. I like when antagonists meet their ends. That's just my phone going off, don't worry. But anyways, yep. So everyone met their end in that episode. Only like 5, 6 people out of like 13 or 14 people. The only people that are left is the main character / police officer, Rick Grimes. The secondary character / pizza delivery guy named Glenn. and then there's Daryl, which is the brother of the racist brother, and of the racist, and then there's and then there's Andrea, whom we later learn to dislike very badly, and I'll let you know in my season 3 review, if I ever do get around to doing that. Right now it will only be seasons 1 and 2 though, and I think season 5 will be episodic. But anyways, I'm getting too far ahead of myself as usual. So anyways, so did I even do a review of episode 4 now? Oh yeah, everyone ends up meeting their ends. Most of the characters end up meeting their ends, and it ends up at the very end of the episode. I keep on stumbling on my words, I apologize. Rick and what remains of their little ragtag group go off to the CDC, Center for Disease Control, where they think they'll find a cure to this whole zombie outbreak. And yeah, that leads us to episode 5. I honestly know the title of every episode in that, but I actually forgot the episode name of episode 5. So I'll just call it episode 5 CDC. I'll just call it CDC. I'm just kidding, I won't give it a name. I'll just call it episode 5 for now. Yeah, so in episode 5, they go on a journey to the CDC and we find out that one of the characters whom we thought wouldn't die actually was bit. Because episode 5 ends up it begins a day after the big attack by the zombie herd. And yeah, one of the characters is bit, so that leads us 7 out of 14 people end up dying. That guy was bit, and he says, no, leave me, I want to go off with my wife and son. I want to see them again. I don't know why he wants to be a zombie, but in the end, he just ends up getting chained to a tree, and everyone leaves him to his dying wish to become a walker. And then Rick and everyone goes to the CDC, where they end up at the end of the episode, and Rick yells into the security camera begging for a safe haven, and they're given one finally at the end of episode 5, where the big doors to the CDC open, and Rick and his group of survivors look on into the doors, where there stands a scientist, which leads us into the epic finale of season 1 of The Walking Dead. You want to hear it? I sure do. Well, I sure do want to give it. So anyways, season 1 episode 6, which is the finale. It was a short season, actually a long one, since season 1 episode 1 was an hour and a half, like I said before. But anyways, season 1, episode 6, the big finale was just about Rick and his group of survivors going into the CDC, making themselves at home, but don't make yourself at home for too long, because they find out that the CDC is on a timer to explode. They find out there was actually no cure, and it was all just a bunch of bullplunk. So yeah, see what happens in zombie apocalypses? There's actually no cure whatsoever in, ever. So yeah, be warned. And they were forewarned. I'm just rambling on about some bull now. But anyways, yeah. So they find out that it's on a timer to explode in 1 hour, which is actually the length of the whole episode. Actually, the length is 45 minutes of footage. So Rick begs him to let them out, because the guy was just planning to let Rick and the survivors die with him. The Edwin Jenner scientist guy, whom we saw at the end of episode 5. Edwin Jenner whispers something into Rick's ear before letting them out, and when they were let out, one of the survivors, believe it or not, ends up dying in that episode. She says it's her dying wish. Well, not her dying wish, she's not dying. But she just wants to stay at the CDC, not wanting to go out and face the horrors of the world again. So she stays in the CDC and explodes along with Edwin Jenner. Has a very painless, quick death, while everyone else escapes, and that ends off season 1 of The Walking Dead show. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of The Walking Dead. It's such a great show, honestly. I'll do a review of Season 2, which is actually 13 episodes. I don't know if it'll be episodic. I don't know if it will be... Yeah, I do not know if it will be episodic. Where I just do one every episode, which will only be like 2 to 3 minutes long. Maybe it'll be a full season. Season 3 info possibly will be like episodic, and season 5 definitely, because season 5 has not aired yet on television. It's actually going to air like in October, and I'm very excited for that. Until my review of the season 2, whenever I record it, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.